All right, it is 19 minutes before 7 o'clock and a very warm welcome back. Now, on our literature slot this morning, we're speaking to 19-year-old first-time author Danya Raquel about her debut novel titled Escapist Techniques. Now, a self-help read that puts a spotlight on how we as human beings use escape mechanisms to try and avoid dealing with emotional turmoils we come across in our lives. And her use of language, poetry and narration will make the reader find and then identify with the storylines throughout this read. Now, Danya Raquel joins me now in studio to tell us more about the novel. A very good morning to you, Danya.
Thank you so much.
19-year-old, unbelievable.
Thank you so much.
All right, just give us a brief synopsis of what this book is all about.
Well, the book follows the story of a family of 4 sisters who, through some tragic circumstances and various events in their life, resort to various ways of coping with these events. So that includes drug abuse, binge drinking, sexual promiscuity, and it goes through an array of various ways in which people, cope with events that happen to them, whether it be a normal part of growing up or, traumatic events, stuff like that.
So where did your love for writing manifest itself, and what was the biggest influence?
Well, I was definitely always a very imaginative and creative person. So when I was little, I remember having these elaborate plot lines in my head, and I would just kind of sit there imagining forever. And eventually, I was just like, why can't I just, write them down and turn them into stories? So I did. My love for writing, particularly, I suppose it came from reading. But yeah, as I said, I was very imaginative.
So at what point and at what age did you decide that, look, I've got this author in me, I just want to express myself, I want to be a writer?
I think it was about 12.
Yeah?
That was when I started writing my first book, and I distinctly remember it was about aliens, and I thought that was going to be the next big thing.
All right. Now just share with us, Danya, some of the techniques that people use to escape from really unfavorable periods in their lives.
So in the book I explore, good ways and bad ways that people mute their emotions. So as I said before, drug abuse, substance abuse, but there's also, more subtle ways. So, reading, engaging more with their creativity. So there are various ways. And I do feel like everybody does in some way have a coping mechanism or an escapist technique. Sure. Whether it be smoking, whether it be drinking, whether it be something as subtle as as playing video games.
True.
So everyone has something.
True. So when can escape mechanisms become too much, to a point where we find ourselves we find it too much, to a point, that they say too much of a thing is dangerous.
100%. So that's exactly what the book explores.
Yeah.
It explores, what's the difference between, just coping and taking it overboard and actually being self-destructive. So that's exactly what I explore in the novel.
All right. Now, you use the process of writing this book as a source of dealing with your own issues. Take us through that. So,
it's quite funny because I speak about escapist techniques, but the book was written during a time in my life which, I don't know, I was going through quite a bit. So it is an escapist technique for me. So that itself is quite ironic, I think. Instead of, resorting to, drug abuse and all of this, I channeled it into writing, which worked out well.
So what sort of level of preparation did you put into this?
It started out with just writing, chapter by chapter, kind of just getting it out there onto a page, and just so it was down. By the time I'd finished an entire draft, I looked back and I thought, I can actually do something with this. So I edited it thoroughly. Yeah. And eventually it was what it is now. I mean, it took a while, about 2 years. But yeah, it was a hectic process, mostly of editing than of actually writing. Right. Yeah.
So do you see yourself writing another one?
Definitely, but I do think that my intentions go beyond just writing. I definitely want to write more books, but I want to engage more with the subject matter. It's all good and well to write about mental health, but I do also want to, practice what I preach and go out there, engage and help out there. Also with, so I think this is just a starting point, I do.
All right. Danya, I'm so fascinated, and all the best.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, that was author Danya Raquel speaking to us about her latest offering titled Escapist Techniques. Now, a self-help read that aims to guide its readers through a journey of finding themselves and then learning how to cope with their emotional demons. And we thank her for her time.